Can insulin be used for powerlifting? Obviously. Will insulin boost your performance in the context of powerlifting? Yeah, once again, obviously. Just to get this right out of the way, this is not a how-to video or a video encouraging insulin use or any other PEDs. Where I currently reside, all of the stuff that I discuss is legal. Not that that dictates morality, but you should try and stay out of jail. Jail sucks. Once again, if you do this stuff to your body, understand that you're putting your body at risk, and no one is to blame for that other than yourself. I am not a doctor, nor do I pretend to be. I do not even play one on TV or on the YouTubes. So, with that, let's get into the hypothetical applications of insulin within the context of powerlifting, which is strictly strength, depending on if you care about your weight class, and once again, strength to power ratio. So, undeniable uses for insulin within powerlifting would be recovery and to build muscle. The more recovered a muscle is, obviously, the more you can lift, the stronger it's going to be, and also the more frequently that you would be able to lift. So, every rep, every set, yada yada yada, every pound lifted is going to add at least some weight to your total. So, the faster you recover, the more you can lift, the more often you can lift, and the higher quality of training you'll be able to do within those workouts. Next, building muscle. A bigger muscle has the potential to be a stronger muscle. That's it. So, now once again, those of you trying to stay in a weight class, you can build the muscle, then cut back down or whatever. Maybe not to your own weight, your old weight class, but the power to weight ratio should still be there. All right. So now, those are undeniable uses. Now let's get into more hypothetical situations, such as carving up after a weight cut or just straight up carving up. So starting with just the carving up, when your muscles are fully loaded, glycogen loaded, and they're fully recovered, and yada yada yada, you're going to be able to lift more weight. The more weight you lift over time, that's going to be more and more tonnage. Once again, that's going to add more and more weight to your total. So more is better in the confines of weight lifted. Now the carving up after a weight cut. Bodybuilders use this strategy to come in looking their fullest and their best. Now, I'm not a bodybuilder, I've never really worked with them, but I do think that when you hear of a bodybuilder missing their peak, quote unquote, I'm pretty sure they screwed up their insulin timing because they're using insulin, they're carb depleted, and then they want to use the insulin to get themselves filled up as much as possible. Most notably, Big Ramy came in at like 310 pounds for day one, and then he dropped 14 of those pounds overnight. I'm sure that he completely screwed up his insulin use and and completely overcarbed. And then once the dust kind of settled and he filled back in and tightened up a little bit, then he looked pretty decent. So you could use this in the same situation for carving up for a weight cut, especially on like short term, like 2 hour weigh-ins. This would probably be pretty beneficial to help speed that up. Um, now I do not. Now the other thing that insulin could definitely be used for is if you compete in a tested federation. Now, I do not condone cheating. I think it's bullshit. They have untested federations, so just go compete in an untested federation. But at the same time, if you look at the totals being put up by both tested and untested federations, it's quite clear that the testing is not extensive, or is not extensive enough to actually make it drug free or anything close to that. I'm not going to throw shade, but if you look at some of those power lifters in some of those weight classes, they are absolutely jacked out of their mind. And even in the smaller weight classes, an 83 class, a 74 class, their FFMI is like well over 25, and these kids are just kids. So, anyways, insulin is almost impossible to be caught for when you're using it. Kind of the same things as HGH. And so I think that would make it pretty attractive for that situation. Once again, don't condone it, but that is the facts and the gist of it. People cheat. Yeah, so then we get into the warnings. The only thing that I would really warn you about, other than, the coma death thing, but your muscles recover and grow faster than what your tendons and ligaments do, especially when you're using PEDs. And I think that insulin would exacerbate this situation. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but I would assume that insulin would help your tendons and your ligaments recover faster than what they would if you weren't using insulin. But at the same time, your muscles are still going to recover faster than what they were. So, that is something to consider. A couple of solutions to this would be adding HGH or a, a secretalog, however they pronounce that word, or a 19-nor steroid, both of which have shown very positive effects on tendon, joint, and ligament strength. So there you have it. There is my hypothetical applications of insulin use in powerlifting. Obviously, there is a place for it in powerlifting. It just depends on what you're willing to risk for the gains. Now, yeah, I'm not going to get into the risk versus reward because you know what? Do your own research. Don't be an idiot. And quite frankly, if you're going to use insulin and any other PED in some way, shape, or form, you're a darn idiot. So that is what it is. Hope you enjoyed the video. More to come. Peace.